Hey everyone. I just did a video on understanding what psychosis is, and I thought it would be good to follow up with what a patient experiences when they're in psychosis, like to see it through from their point of view. So imagine your brain playing tricks on you. You may hear voices that no one else hears. You see things that feel 100% real, but they're not. And you believe that there may be people out to hurt you, even when they're not. And sometimes you can't even realize that anything is wrong. Patients have described that early psychosis may feel dreamlike or like they're being trapped in a nightmare. And that's just the thing. Some patients know that they're experiencing psychotic symptoms, and some patients don't. The ones that do, we call this insight, the ability to recognize that one is unwell. Early on, some patients may feel that something is off. They might feel anxious, suspicious, or overwhelmed. During full psychosis, it often feels completely real to them what they're seeing, hearing, feeling, and they may not realize that they're having hallucinations or that they're delusional. So an example is a patient might hear a voice warning them about danger and truly believe that it's their survival instinct and not an illness. And they may do actions to, prevent themselves from being in harm. That fight or flight instinct kicks in. They may try to run away or they may hide. It can be very scary for them. And emotionally, what patients may experience is that extreme terror. They may feel loneliness because now they're isolated. Nobody understands them. They could be confused about why they're feeling these things all of a sudden. They may be angry. And afterward, they may have some shame and embarrassment once they've been treated and they are coming out of the psychosis, and they may remember some of their behaviors. Sometimes they don't remember. And they may apologize for how they acted. I've seen this a lot in the inpatient facility where a patient has come in completely in full-blown psychosis, enraged, fighting, screaming, and believing that their loved one is in danger. They have to go get them. But once they've been medicated and they've been regulated, they come back and they apologize. They're like, I'm sorry, I know I was probably acting completely off the chain when I came in. I'm better now, and they apologize and they thank us. And it's really the best part of working with this population is to see how medications can help make a difference to them, and they're very grateful. But getting back to it, what other things they might emotionally experience is they can't control what they're seeing and hearing, and these voices may be insulting them. The images may be frightening, so they're terrified, and they don't understand why. And some of them may have overwhelming guilt if they believe they've committed a crime or caused a disaster, because that's what the voices are telling them. So why do we need to understand what a patient's point of view is when they're in psychosis? To help approach them with more compassion and empathy instead of being frustrated with them or being angry with them for acting a certain way. We have to remember that they're not in control of what they're hearing, seeing, feeling. And we need to recognize the behaviors as a symptom of psychosis for what they are, like the yelling, the hiding, the refusing care. Their responses to fear or confusion, they're not necessarily bad behavior. We need to use this understanding to adjust how we talk with them. We need to be calm. We need to have clear, non-threatening tones, and these can help them tremendously. And if a patient refuses medications because they believe that it's poison, arguing with them isn't going to help. We need to validate their fear by telling them, I understand you're scared. I understand that you think this. And we just need to build trust with them. Continue trying to get them medicated. Maybe we can give them something else that they know and trust. I sometimes ask, what would you do? What would you take? And sometimes they'll tell me, well, I know that I can trust this medication. And sometimes it's within the wheelhouse of what is available to give them to help with their psychosis. Sometimes it's not. In which case, sometimes we may have to, get an order to inject them with a medication against their will, because 99% of the time, a person who comes into our facility who is in psychosis is involuntary for their own safety. And that's a whole nother video we'll talk about. So tips for providers. Listen without judgment, even if what they say sounds absolutely bizarre and strange. And keep your explanations simple, because too much information is overwhelming for them. You have to remember they're already probably hearing things that aren't there on top of all the other voices that are actually speaking to them. And validate their feelings. You don't have to agree with them, but acknowledge that you understand that they are feeling a certain way. And stay calm. Building that calm energy around them can help them feel secure, feel safe, and it builds that trust. And just remember that we might be the first safe, understanding people that they've met in this terrifying experience, and it builds that relationship, and which eventually leads to them feeling confident enough in our trusting relationship to take medications, which will then bring them out of the psychosis. And it's not just crazy behavior. It is deep, terrifying perception of reality. And people don't choose to be in psychosis, but they can survive it. And the more we understand about how they're feeling, and we understand how it's treated and how it's managed, we can encourage them to take the medications, and then we can encourage them to maintain their medication regimen once they are well and ready for discharge, and make sure that they have follow-ups and that they are maintaining a series of follow-ups with their outside providers to make sure that they're taking their medications. And to do this, there are a load of different resources out there to help them manage in the community. So that'll be a topic for another time, talking about the different community resources. Remember to like, follow, and share to keep seeing my videos, and leave me any questions or comments, and I'll see you next time.